जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज रंजन यमुनतीरवनचारि। यशोदानंदन व्रजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारि। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारि। यशोदानंदन व्रजनरञ्जन यमुनतीरवनचारि। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा वल्लभ राधा वल्लभ राधा। जय राधा मदन मोहन राधा मदन मोहन राधा। जय जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जगन्नाथ स्वामी सपदगामी नयन पथगामी भवत में जगन्नाथ स्वामी पथगामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो गौराहति निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो गौराहरि। जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद गौराहरि। जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद जय सच्चिदानंद और हरि पतित पावन पतित पावन पावन गौर हरि। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय
जगत प्रभु नित्यानंद
जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव
हरे कृष्ण
जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरिनाम संकीर्तन कीजिए, ट्रांसलेशन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कीजिए, श्रीमद् भागवतम मॉर्निंग क्लास कीजिए, एकादशी महामहोत्सव कीजिए, ऑल असेंबल डिवोटीज कीजिए। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्ते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिव सादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपः कुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगदिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादि पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हुकुम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपः तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्द माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ओम पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यत्स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षः सभ्याभ्यन्तरं ते। श्री विष्णु श्रीवे। हरे
कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा पद्मा माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। हरे कृष्णा शिवा माता जी, thank you for enthusiastically conducting the classes. So Prabhu, I'm happy that you're back to Hyderabad. I thought you'll not come back. We'll go to GV and settle down there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Shri Giraj Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam.
धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम
Dandot Pranam, Mataji. Yeah, you're telling something, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Pawan Prabhu, Sandhya Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Deepa Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
Thank you for joining. Mahalige Mayor Prabhu, Meera Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna. Vanilla Mataji, Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Dandot Pranam Mataji. Akinchan Pri Prabhu, Shobha Kumari Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Padma Mataji and Arvind Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam. Hare
Dandot
Krishna.
Pranam. Dandot Pranam. Dasraj Prabhu and Manasa Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Madhusudan Rao Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Dandot
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Sanjay Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
Teja Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Thank you for joining. There is somebody with closed brackets. I don't know who is, but Dandot Pranam. Balamani Mataji, Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam. Raju Prabhu, Shirisha Mataji, Dandot Pranam. Please accept humble obeisances.
Dandot Pranam Prabhuji.
Very wonderful. Very happy to see Sri
Hare
Gopal
Krishna.
Prabhu,
Dandot
Purnam
Pranam.
Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Prabhuji.
Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. Mahesh Prabhu and Prashanti Mataji, Dandot Pranam, Haribol,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandot Pranam. Kiran Prabhu, Haribol, Dandot Pranam. And
Dandot Pranam
last
Prabhuji.
but not the least, Praveen Prabhu and Suma Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
Wow, what an assembly of Vaishnavas in the morning on Ekadashi. So fortunate to be in all your association. Very, very happy to be here. And joyfully we can read Srimad Bhagavatam for the next 1 hour. How fortunate are we? So we have activities of Lord Rishabdev. Text 1. This is Canto 5, Chapter 6, Text 1. The meters of this, I don't know. I'm just trying to read the Sanskrit words. Some of the meters are very difficult to understand. Please forgive me for my mistakes. Rajo Vacha Nanunam Bhagava Atma Raman Yoga Samit Samirita Jnanava Bharjita Karma Bhajanam Aishwaryami Puna Kleshadani Bhavitum Arhati Yadracha Yopagatani. Translation. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. King Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami, my dear Lord, for those who are completely pure in heart, knowledge is attained by practice of Bhakti Yoga, and attachment for fruitive activity is completely burned to ashes. For such people, the powers of mystic yoga automatically arise. They do not cause distress. Why then did Rishabdev neglect them? Hare Krishna. So Provision Mataji's, we are in the chapter 6 now. Till chapter 5, the amazing teachings of Lord Rishabdev are there, right? How to lead a life, how to leave the body, while you are in this material world, what should be our priorities, how we should lead a life in such a way that we are in this world and still we are not touched by it. So instructed it to all his sons. So he has fulfilled his responsibility. One of the verses, he also says that you should not be a father if you don't deliver your children. So Lord Rishabdev, being the Supreme Personality of God himself, he is the Supreme Person himself. And still he's setting an example how he has delivered his sons. And now he's moving on with his spiritual responsibilities. This is a wonderful system of Varnashram Dharma, whereby you are allowed to free yourself, isn't it? You're allowed to free yourself when the right time comes. When the right time comes, you can start your education, right? When there is a whole sanskara for starting education, right? And then there is a sanskara of finishing your education, not like the graduation ceremony by throwing the cap, but paying obeisances to Guru and taking initiation, following in his footsteps, serving the Supreme Lord. Then there is also sanskara to get married, right? And use that education to lead a life with no attachment in this world, yet serving the Supreme Lord by inviting more souls to become devotees as your children, creating progeny. And then beautifully, retiring. Such a happy event, isn't it? Retirement, whereby you are passing on the survival, business or employment or anything or whatever you could gain to the next generation. And in this case, a king giving his kingdom away, powers, responsibilities, and then fully absorbing oneself in going back to Krishna, right? Hare Krishna. The whole, once Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj was telling in a class in Chopati that you plan the exit when you are doing the entry itself. Right? You plan the exit when you are doing the entry itself. Meaning, you plan when are you going to stop the studies when you start the studies. You plan when are you going to go into Varnashram, the Vanaprasthashram when you're getting married itself. And you plan when are you going to become a sannyasi or take up sannyas when you're going to Vanaprastha itself, right? So the mood of leaving is there even when you are entering, right? So that's the beauty of Varnashram system. So there is no question of any attachment, and that is how we should be attached and detached in this world, right? Yajnartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tad artha karma kaunteya ukta sangha samachara tad artha karma kaunteya. That is how we are supposed to perform karma. So there is no bandha, there is no bandhanam, right? There is no attachment. Attachment to this material world for our own enjoyment. So here, Rishabdev, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is so beautifully showing all of us how he is living. How he is living after all the great opulence and great coming in the kingdom of lineage of Priyavrat Maharaj, right? And taking such a big, having such exalted ancestors right before him. And then he is now passing it on and moving on. And how is he moving on? He is moving on in such a way that he's setting an example for people who want to move on, the highest example. Now we can't repeat what Rishabdev did and never ever do that. And actually there is one king who did that. We'll discuss about that when we go forward. How when we try to imitate a great soul, we actually fall down and we do more damage to the society. Instead of imitating, we should follow his footsteps. That at least in our current situation, in 2024, in this year or from this year, can we think about retirement? Right? Can we think about retirement and just mute Satyadev Prabhu? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, can we think about retirement? And what does it mean to think about retirement? Rishabdev Maharaj was not retiring and sitting in a hut or something or, in a secluded place and saying that I'm done. Now it's only for me. No, he was traveling. It is explained that he traveled all around the planet, right? But while he was traveling, he was only meditating on the Supreme Lord, absorbing himself in the holy names and spreading with his example how one should leave the body in the most renounced way. In fact, it is said, now this might be a very heavy statement, Prabhuji and Mataji's. When I heard this, it was really alarming for me. It is told we should leave the body with nobody known around us. Difficult, right? My God. Oh, Krishna, what is this? What kind of demand is this? Yes, because that is also a kind of sense gratification only. Like after I die, after I die, so many devotees will come and cry. Ah, I've done so many things in life, so many, some senior devotees will talk about me in temples, and my guru will keep my photo in his room. Yeah, and people around me will, glorify me, and there will be a whole sabha. There will be a whole what is it? Vyas Puja Sabha for me, and 200 people will come, 300 people will come, and one by one they will glorify every little thing I did, and my soul will be sitting there, hearing all of that and feeling nice. Wow, kuch to kiya zindagi mein, khatarnak, right? I mean, that is also sense gratification. Yeah, we want devotees around us to pray for us, to chant for us while we leave the body, but expecting awe and reverence even in spiritual life, and that way also is very detrimental. Suppose our false ego is sitting in the most unrecognizable place, even for us, many times, right? Even for us, we might start feeling, oh, I've done this, why am I not being recognized? I've done this. I think I deserve to be, I deserve to be, what is it? Known in my spiritual circles. I have many things. Anything we do, actually it creates a false ego. We should be very, very mindful. Sometimes you can raise your hand, if you are so transparently wanting to get away with that anartha, is that when somebody is giving a class, you suddenly feel he should have explained in a better way, or he's not chanting the Sanskrit sloka properly. I know better than him, or he's singing kirtan, but tune is not good. I think I know it better than him, or he did not explain completely. I think when I get a chance, I'll finish the remaining. Or I don't think he has good presentation skills. I think he needs to learn. I have to tell him after the class, or or many such things like that, which means okay, such thoughts can come in a constructive way, but it also means that you already feel you're superior. And when we sit in a Bhagavatam class with a consciousness that we are superior, we can never understand Bhagavatam. Right? Just imagine Parikshit Maharaj is sitting in front of Sukadeva Goswami, thinking maybe he can present it better than Sukadeva Goswami, or Sukadeva Goswami is doing his best, but maybe is not the best choice. Right? There has to be complete surrender and absorption in spiritual life without any desire for being recognized ourselves. And that's exactly what Rishabdev is doing. After speaking such a great, it's as good as Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 5 is as good as Bhagavad Gita. He told everything. What is your duty, how you have to live, how you have to leave, everything he told. And after telling all that, what is he doing? He is becoming an avaduta. Avadut. Meaning not of this world. His actions, his preferences, his plan is not of this world. Barely wearing anything, barely eating anything. Sometimes he behaves like a python. Python means what? Python stays there and waits for its prey. If that day the prey will come, it will eat. Otherwise, it will fast. So something gets to eat, he'll eat. Otherwise, he will not eat. He will not go and ask. So it is explained how renounced way he was walking in the forest. And now the question comes from Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadeva Goswami that such a renounced person obviously would have got siddhis. He would have got siddhis, many kinds of siddhis, to become smaller than the smallest, to become lighter than the lightest, to become larger than the largest, to read somebody else's mind. Huh? I wish I had some siddhi to mute everyone as they're unmuting. I'm just joking. It's okay. It's okay. So what about those siddhis? Why is he not displaying the siddhis when even anyway he's self-realized, he's completely in control of everything? Why is he not displaying his siddhis? For that, Sukadeva Goswami is going to answer after that, on that question. Basically, we see that great saintly people have siddhis. Lot of people have told, they have seen effulgence around Srila Prabhupada. Many of them, they told. Nice effulgence. And in fact, if we observe with spiritual consciousness, with surrender and with the prayer, with love, we can see effulgence around devotees also. Senior devotees, whereby they're glowing because their decisions are so firm in spiritual life. The tapasya is so intense that there are so many siddhis they get. Sometimes they wish it and it happens. They say it and it happens, right? It happens. I sometimes, it's when we quote such things in public forum, people might take it cheaply. That's why we don't get into that business of quoting siddhi related activities. Like my guru told this, and exactly that's what happened. Like this devotee told this, and exactly that's what happened, right? Some devotees tell me such things personally. It's in personal level, not in any lectures. Because they have seen it happening, right? There is a Prabhupada disciple who told that Prabhupada was not touching the ground. He was few inches away, like leviating, at one time. Now, why would would we want to say this in public? People who don't have faith in a great Vaishnava, no, they would treat it cheaply. And that's the reason some people even concluded that Prabhupada is God, which is what Prabhupada objected, saying you should not speak like that. Jyotsna Mataji, So Mataji, and Swami Mataji. Okay, muted. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, Dandavat Pranam. I was just muting everyone sometimes when it is unmuted. Okay. So, yeah, so it is true that some people have seen Prabhupada doing some extraordinary things, but they are rarely quoted and spoken about. Like there is one sannyasi, he has seen Rupa Goswami. Yes. Rupa Goswami came and blessed him. He is a Prabhupada disciple. He is a sannyasi, the initiating spiritual master. He told this in a very close forum to his disciples. Very, very close forum. And it did not come out. And even right now, I'm not quoting his name. Because I don't want people to see this as some cheap act of increasing popularity. But great souls, they have siddhis, they have a lot of visions and a lot of realizations, but they don't quote it. Why? Because that leads to name and fame, right? Let us see what Prabhupada written in the purport. In the purport, it's one place he writes, a little quantity of gold captivates foolish people, and thus yogi gets many followers who are willing to accept such a tiny person as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a yogi may also advertise himself as Bhagavan, right? That's what happens. When you start getting siddhis, you start doing some things, people will conclude that you're Bhagavan, and sometimes it feels nice also to be called as Bhagavan, and that feeling nice will ultimately show the real picture of you, that you are a demoniac person coming into spiritual circles, trying to make yourself as God instead of becoming a devotee of God. So many Bhagavans that India has even now. claim themselves as Bhagwan. Their first agenda is how to show miracles. People go to them, they'll give something, and then they'll say, "Oh, they are benefited because of that." But they don't have the intelligence. The Prabhupada is foolish people. And then Prabhupada says, if by the grace of the Supreme Lord, a devotee achieves extraordinary opulence, he utilizes the opportunity for the Lord's service. He is not disturbed with such an opulence. Great example is Hanumanji. He had all the opulences, Ashtasiddhis he had. He never utilized them for his entertainment. He only used them in service of Lord Ram. Right? Even Prahlad Maharaj had amazing siddhis. He got darshan of Narsingadev, Hare Krishna. Right? But he utilized them in service after Narsingadev left, in service of the kingdom. Right? Siddhis doesn't have to be biggest of the biggest, smallest of smallest. Many siddhis are there. But the great devotees are not busy showing them to people. Sometimes people see them. That is their fortune, that they see it. But they don't display it. They don't display it saying, "See, I've removed this from my mouth. Everybody see. The cheaters, pakka cheaters. 100% bona fide, certified ISI cheaters. Why? Because they are looking for name and fame. They are looking for a spot where they can be worshipped. Right? So second sloka, text 2. Srila Sukadeva Goswami replied, "My dear king, you have spoken correctly. However, after capturing animals, a cunning hunter does not put faith in them, for they might run away. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life do not put faith in the mind. Indeed, they always remain vigilant and watch the mind's action." Mind is like an animal, like a monkey. When I was reading this chapter, I was feeling perfect chapter for me. Because mind is never tired of tiring us, right? Never tired of tiring us. It will keep asking. And yeah. Okay. Sorry, sometimes I repeat the name of whom I'm muting because they should know that unknowingly they are muting. Tulsi Mataji, I just told you. That's how they'll know, at least for the future, when I'm using my phone. Little careful with unmuting nothing. Don't feel offensive. I'm not trying to point anybody. I have done it myself many times, so many mistakes. Yeah. So, indeed, yeah. So here it is being told that mind is like an animal. Actually, all our senses, and especially mind is like an animal. And a yogi, a devotee, what he does, he captures them and engages them in the service of Krishna. But is always very watchful. He never trusts them. Never trust your senses. Never trust your mind. If you are trusting our mind, then the mind is going to take us for a ride. Right? Recently, His Grace Vrajvihari Prabhu wrote a book. I like the title. I have not read it. I saw my wife reading it. What is it? Mind the Mind. Devotees come up with very nice titles, especially the Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He comes up with different quotes on mind. Right? In fact, Arjuna himself. Just imagine the scene. Arjuna, the one who could control his sense in front of Apsaras, the one who could control his desire to eat, desire to sleep, Gudakesha, right, is sitting in front of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is sitting in front of Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra and is telling, "I can control WIND, but I cannot control MIND. I can control wind, but I cannot control mind." Right? It's a problem. It is a problem when we all should recognize that that's a big problem. Great souls are telling that they cannot control the mind. Mind is so restless. Who are we? Right? A lot of times, even devotees, they take so much risk. I don't know why they do that. Even I did, I'm telling this to myself. Prabhupada, in fact, warned, that his disciples many times, especially Western disciples, he warned that you people are taking too much risk. You don't know the power of Maya, like that. Prabhupada told many times. at that time, we told Western disciples, we are also almost pseudo-Westerners now in India. Where we have a brown skin, but we feel it is white or whatever color. Just that, following the footsteps of West. I'm so proud of being a Westerner, or proud of have ever been to the West. So certainly we are Westerners anyways. So we also should take that as our instruction from Prabhupada, that be very mindful of your mind. That the mind is always going to cheat. Can you name one person who always cheats? Always cheats. There is no question of not cheating. You go to that person, that fellow will cheat. Mind. Never even think in your dreams that the thought mind is giving is for your good. Mind is only going to find reasons how to take you away from Krishna. Right? Any choice. So, when the mind is engaged in the service of Krishna, it calms down. That is the reason, Prabhus, that is the reason we have these classes, we have the satsangs, we have the festivals. We keep reminding each other, Bhaiya, come, please come to satsang regularly. Don't leave the association, stay in the association. Why do we say that? 200 people are sitting in the hall. You really think your absence will be seen? When 200, 300 people are sitting in the hall, you don't come there thinking, I don't care, or I have better things to do, or I don't think I'm enjoying these classes. I don't think I know I need this association. I don't think I belong here. I need advanced, whatever nonsense that is coming into your mind. You are thinking like that, but do you really think in that assembly of 300 people you'll be noticed if you're not there? If it's a material assembly, if it's a materialistic assembly, you will not be noticed. But Prabhus, if it's a spiritual assembly, your absence will be felt. Remember that. If it's a spiritual assembly, your absence will be felt. That preacher, that Siksha Guru, or Diksha Guru, he will search for you. Even among 10,000 people, he'll search for you. Because spirituality is based on compassion. And in spite of being introduced to such a wonderful society where devotees are searching and praising and looking to serve you, if you are finding reasons not to be regular to satsang, then can you describe in one word, anybody, what we should call such a person?
Moodha.
Fool. Right? Or unfortunate. In Telugu, I like this word, daridram. Daridrudu. Ante enti?
impoverished.
Karmadi. Ante inta jarugutunte kuda inka nuvu so much good is happening, but you're only seeing the bad. Like today's Prabhupada quote was actually that. I'll read Prabhupada's quote today. I sent it in the morning. Imagine, Prabhupada is also seeing all this. Right? See this. I'm reading it. 6th February. Today, 6th February. The flies, they are finding out where is sour. And the bees, they are finding out where there is honey. 2 classes. Fault finding, collecting the good things. Similarly, there are many rascals who are simply fault finding. Blasphemy means you have good qualities, but still I am defaming you. The saintly person tends to overlook the bad qualities and see the good ones. In Mayapur, Prabhupada is saying this on February 6, 1976. On today's date, in 1976, Prabhupada said this word. Right? It's so true. Understand one thing, Prabhus, it is a natural for us to be a rascal in Kali Yuga. It is unnatural for us to be a saint in Kali Yuga. We are being trained to become a saint. So if our mind is showing wrong things, then recognize that. It is wanting us to become a rascal again. Or it's wanting us to become a Muda or remain a Muda all the time. Right? You recognize that. And as soon as I recognize that, immediately pay obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, thank you for saving me. I'm able to see my mind. I'm able to experience my mind. I'm able to now try to control my mind. I will go to Satsang. I will sit there. I am here to learn. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to learn. Let me sit and learn whenever I get an opportunity. Let me do a service whenever I'm given one. Let me be sincere to whatever little things I'm doing. Whatever service I do here is the same the service, the effect of service if I do in Vrindavan, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, anywhere. Service is the same. It's not like Krishna will give me special coins if I come to Mayapur and do service. The same service, what I can do in a dham, I can do here, right here, sitting in my house, sitting in the ashram, sitting in the bhakti center, sitting in the satsang hall, anywhere. Same service I can do. I am so grateful to you. Please. So, mind is going to play. Mind is going to play. But we should recognize that mind is playing. But false ego is too high. When false ego is too high, then even though intelligence is trying to tell you that your mind is playing, but your false ego will suppress the intelligence and sometimes even utilize the intelligence to take you away from Krishna. In my little spiritual life, I have seen devotees, clearly surrendered and, oh, Prabhuji, without you, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about my seniors, how they were with my seniors, crying in their front. Oh, Prabhuji, మీరు లేకపోతే నేను ఏమైతే ప్రభు స్పిరిచువల్ లైఫ్ మీరు తెచ్చిన ప్రభు ఇట్లాంటివి చేసి one day they're not even seeing them. They don't even go and see when that Shiksha Guru is unwell. They don't even see when that person is remembering him. Yeah, I've seen that. Have you seen anybody like that? Don't name it, but have you seen people changing? I've seen. Why? Can you tell me why that happens? That at one time you are like, so no lekute nenu batkine batkalenu. Another go and tell 100 people about you, and oh, it's nice, so this, that, then one fine day you yourself are behaving in the most weirdest way. Why that happens? Prabhu, it can happen to me also. It can happen to you also. So I'm asking you so it should not happen to us. Why it happens?
Because of our false ego.
Yes, false ego is always there. False ego is always there.
Taking it granted, Prabhuji.
Yes, taking it granted. Yes, familiarity.
Complacence.
Yeah, complacence. And most important, offenses. Offenses. Subtle, gross offenses. Prabhus, in spiritual life, we have to be so careful. Small offense, smallest offense. Indra did I don't know, small or big, but one offense to Brahaspati. He did not stand up. That's all, right? He can tell, I always stood up. He did not stand up. And Brahaspati did not even tell that he's angry. He just left. He did not tell, you did not stand up, so I'm leaving now. No communication. He just left. But who saw this whole offense? Who saw this whole offense? Who is the witness who sees everything?
Krishna.
Krishna. Finish. Prabhus, we have an ultra modern 360-degree CCTV right here. Ultra modern 360-degree CCTV, which never shuts down. Everything it is seeing. Everything. Inside also, outside also. So one offense, right? I know one devotee, he started finding faults in another devotee in the satsang. Khatam, he's gone. He's gone. Because it's a mad elephant offense. You know what I'm saying? Mad elephant, what does mad elephant do? It not only destroys one place, it destroys the entire garden. Khatam. Right? He started seeing faults in one devotee, and then he started seeing faults in me because I am working with the devotee. Then he's finding faults in who I follow because he is giving shelter. And he's finding faults in this, finding faults in that, this, khatam. Finish. You know what I'm saying? That is how it is. And the only, only prayer we should have in mind is I should not be in that situation. Krishna, please save me. Because the intelligence will work against you. The intelligence will work against you. Your mind is anyway working against you. Your mind will take over the intelligence. It will utilize the intelligence to give you more reasons and logical conclusions to leave. The same person you were preaching till yesterday that don't leave association, you will leave association. I have seen my own God brothers doing that. I have seen my own seniors doing that. They left association. And after that, the whole glow, the whole purity, their power to speak, everything is gone. Gone. People they're not impressed when they speak. They're not transformed. Oh, they might be impressed. Oh, acha speaker, but there's no transformation. That services are not leading to any good results. It is possible. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to anyone. So we have to control our mind. Our mind can destroy us without our notice. Everybody is vulnerable. Everybody. Don't think that, hey, Prabhuji, I'm not. No, I'm not. You are. And tomorrow, if I run away, my humble request is don't give up. Chase me, catch me, bring me back. That's my humble request to all of you. Right? It can happen. Because false ego is like that. Our mind is like that. Right? So here, Rishabdev is, what do you call that? Sukadeva Goswami is telling that a devotee is so mindful of the mind, just like a hunter is mindful of the animals he catches, that they can run away anytime. He's never taken it for granted. Never takes it for granted. Always keeps a watch and always keeps it tied. Right? In fact, in one of the purports here, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj is telling, I beat my mind every morning with my shoe 100 times. And at the evening, before sleeping, again I beat it with a broom 100 times. Right? Who is telling this? Prabhupada's Guru. Right? Bhaktivedanta Swami's Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta. Who are me and you thinking that my mind is my friend? It is not your friend. Never your friend. The eternal enemy inside us. Eternal enemy inside us. Text 3. All the learned scholars have given their opinion. The mind is by nature very restless. And one should not make friends with it. Prabhu's, Sukadeva Goswami is telling, don't make friends with your mind. If we place full confidence in the mind, it may cheat us at any moment. Lord Shiva became agitated upon seeing the Mohini form of the Lord Krishna. And Shaubari Muni also fell down from the mature stage of yogic perfection. Now, in case of Shaubari Muni, he did an offense. There are two different examples here. Shaubari Muni did an offense of offending a Vaishnava, Garuda. Right? So that is the reason he lost his intelligence. and he fell down. In case of Lord Shiva, it's not like that. Lord Shiva cannot be, he can never fall down. Lord Shiva is Swayam Vishnu, who is coming into this material world to serve in the mood of service, right? Shambhu. But he himself is putting in his example in service for times to come, that even I can get affected by beauty. Right? So Mohini Murti is Swayam Krishna. It's a playful pastime between both of them. It's not something that we should find faults in either. They both are teaching us a lesson. Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, both of them together are teaching us a lesson that can happen. So please be mindful, right? So mind is never your friend. And the purport Prabhupada writes, one should never neglect austerities and penances, one should always perform them. Mind attacks with complacency, So when you meet devotees, don't forget the etiquettes. No matter how many years you are in Krishna consciousness. Like when you see devotees in the center, in the temple, pay obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. You are again and again reminding yourself that these Vaishnavas are the only people who are here to save me. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. All my desires will be fulfilled by them. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha. So I'm very grateful because they can deliver me. I'm a patita pavana hetu. Right? Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo. I'm a patita. They can purify me. These are the Vaishnavas. Are we feeling that when we come to the center? When we look at the center, when you're entering the door, who are the people who are going to save me? People outside or people inside? People inside. They are sent by Krishna to save me. I don't know them. They also don't know me, but it's my duty to go and get to know them because they are the people who are going to save me. See, when you go to a hospital, you get to know the doctors, right? I want to go to a nephrologist. I want to go to a neurologist. I want to go to this gist, that gist. Why? Because you know your disease and you need a doctor to cure you. In the same way, when you enter the Bhakti center or you enter a temple, you have to search for your doctor. You have to search for your doctor. You want to be cured. You can't sit there. I don't know that person. I don't know. Yes. Are pichoda. Pampichandu. They would need to cure Jaden Pampichandu. Every devotee in your life has been customly sent to you to cure you. If this is the consciousness we carry into the satsang, then that is satsang. Otherwise, akkada కూర్చొని నేను సీనియర్ ఇలా జూనియరా కొత్తగా వచ్చినా ఎప్పుడు వచ్చి ఇక్కడ కూర్చున్నాడా తెలియదా you are thinking, your mind is playing with you even within the satsang. Look at the senior devotees when they come, right? Recently Dinabandhu Prabhu came. Just see the way he's looking at everyone. And he's wanting to see and be good. He was telling me, oh, such nice, beautiful devotees. He's coming from Braj. He's coming from Braj, where there are only devotees. And devotees who are in totally naturally Krishna conscious devotees. He's chanting bhajans of Braj. Can he see good in me? I am sitting here in Gachibowli, in between concrete jungle, with all lusty, horrible thoughts, desires, seeing good in me also. Why? Because he sees a connection between all of us. And the connection is Krishna. And Krishna will be offended if he sees any faults in us. He can see, but he won't see. Because he's so Krishna conscious. Are you all following what I'm saying?
Yes, Prabhu.
They're
Yes.
so Krishna conscious. They're so Krishna conscious. They are so scared, fearful of finding faults in others, even though they can see only faults. They might see only fault, but they will ignore it. They'll remove it. No, I don't want to see. Such a beautiful devotee. So nicely it is done. So nicely done. So Indradoni Swami Maharaj is seeing everybody so nicely. Why? Because they are so Krishna conscious. Right? And that is what our gurus are teaching us. Don't see faults in others. Because our mind will only see faults. Mind's duty is to only see faults. Okay, as a Siksha Guru, sometimes you see faults, but you work with your, whoever you are serving, you work with them to overcome those faults, not to point those faults to drive them away. Right? It's austerity. It's austerity to serve. The biggest austerity is to control our mind when we are serving. In the last paragraph of purport, it's a beautiful purport. I'm going to read this. A grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, and brahmachari should be very careful when associating with women. One is forbidden to sit down in a solitary place, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. In our Krishna conscious movement, it has been very difficult to disassociate ourselves from women in our society, especially in Western countries. We are therefore sometimes criticized, but nonetheless, we are trying to give everyone a chance to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and thus advance spiritually. If we stick to the principle of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra offenselessly, then by the grace of Srila Haridas Thakura, we may be saved from the allurement of women. However, if we are not very strict in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we may at any time fall victim to women. So if you don't want to fall victim to man or woman, which are the opposite sex, what are we supposed to do? Very strict in our chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The solution is already there. I'd like to say something here, like be very mindful of who you are interacting with, how you are interacting with, because your spiritual life will go for a toss. Especially when brahmacharis come, I request Matajis, don't go and talk to them solitarily. Don't go and talk to them individually. Even if there is something important to share, take another Mataji with you. Have one friend with you. Or go with your husband. If you have a husband, a Mataji should never go and speak to any other devotee, Grahastha or Brahmachari, doesn't matter, or sannyasi. You should go with your husband. Husband should know what is going on. Subtly, you don't know what you're doing. If your husband doesn't know what you're doing, it can cause big problems for you in your married life. And if by any reason it causes a problem to that brahmachari, vida, khatam, our spiritual life is gone. Krishna will be very displeased. If we are the reason for breaking a brahmacharya or a tapasya, even of a grahastha, if we are the reason, or we are not the direct reason, we are the indirect reason, then also it's a problem. So we should be very careful. And what to speak of how we are interacting with guests, how we are interacting with guests who are coming, what to speak of that? Forget about that. Even within the satsang, right? I see sometimes the conversations are very casual. Please. We are not great Rishi Munis. We are ordinary people sitting in between Maya. Right? Be very careful in your conversations with somebody else's wives. Joking sometimes is okay, but all the time can attract other thoughts. And don't tell me that, oh Prabhu, I will not get that thought. Don't fool yourself. Don't become a fool. Muda. Right? Foolish people. Don't become that. Be very mindful. We are here only for one purpose. To learn how to chant. That's all. To learn how to chant. That's why we are here. Yeah, we might crack a joke. We might be joyful. We might be happy families. We are all families coming together. Anta baane undi. but distance. Keep that relationship. My God sister, my God brother. God sister, God brother doesn't mean same guru. Otherwise, people think like that. I'm just saying, in devotion, we are all God sisters and God brothers. For under Prabhupada, right? Always. People might be going through some very difficult times in their houses, where there is a horrible problem going on between husband and wife. Prabhuji, if somebody else will come and speak nicely with your wife when she is going through a tough time with you, that's a very dangerous situation. Very dangerous situation. Even within satsang, things can happen. And it has happened. Not happening, it has happened because we are vulnerable. So we have to be very careful. Our mind is the biggest enemy. Biggest enemy. So be, even, even to hold each other, to touch each other, be very careful. And there is no touching between us opposite sex. No question about it. Even within I'll tell you, I'm telling this, please be mindful. When brahmacharis are there, senior devotees are there, even if you are celebrating anniversary in the bhakti center or in your house, don't try to show your intimacy towards your wife publicly. Don't try to show that. That also is very dangerous signal of Maya. Right? We are not those Westerners. Have you seen your parents hugging publicly anytime? Chushan Ravdan? Huh?
No.
Our earlier generations, have you seen them?
No.
Never hug publicly. They'll never do anything publicly. Because I don't know whether they know why they are doing like that, but the reason it goes right to the ancient days, that you can create expectation in somebody else. And if his wife is not hugging him publicly, he will think I don't have a right wife. You know what I'm saying? My wife is hugging me publicly, but somebody else is thinking that his wife is not hugging him publicly, so he doesn't have a better wife. You're creating a disturbance in somebody else's life. Even simple things. Don't do it. This is satsang. Purpose is satsang. You want to do all that, book a swagat hall, hug whole day. Keep 20 cameras around, your wish. But in satsang, no. No. We are not here to publicly display our marital relationships also. Very mindful. Very, very mindful. Because it can create disturbance in others' consciousness. Right? Even playing festivals like Holi, or dancing in kirtan, extra loddu. No extras. I'll go and put color on. My own wife, I should not put color in front of everybody. That should be the standard. I want to put color to my wife. Go to the terrace, put color, come back. Nobody should know that you have put. Why you want to show that to the whole world? Because it can create unnecessary, thoughts in people. We are trying to become spiritual. Don't try to create a new ISKCON thinking you're open-minded. Right? Don't try to create a new ISKCON thinking you're open-minded. Open-minded doesn't mean you open your mind so much the brain falls out. Right? Open-minded doesn't mean that your brain is falling. Your brain should still be there. It should have proper thoughts. Open-minded doesn't mean that you can do anything and say that, come on, Prabhuji, this is like, no. I'm sorry. Sorry. Very mindful. Please forgive me if I'm speaking anything that is hurting you. And I'm not trying to find a person or a incident. I'm not speaking about a person in this group right now. I'm telling in general, this is happening. And we should be very careful. We should be careful in mind and be happy. We can be happy without doing all those things also. We can nicely, share our mellows, devotional mellows, share our mind, right? Guhyati, Akya Prachati, you can do all those things. But publicly, don't agitate others. If anybody has any personal question or discussion on this, you can talk to me later. Okay. So, text 4. Is it 9? Yeah. An unchaste woman is very easily carried away by paramours. And it sometimes happens that her husband is violently killed by her paramours. If the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, and greed, and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. Right? So unchaste woman will be carried away by paramours. Who is unchaste woman? Who is unchaste?
Mind.
Yeah, mind. But how do you define unchaste woman?
Not loyal to one person.
Not loyal to one person and has a capacity to get attracted to any other man. Prabhus, Matajis, in this Kali Yuga, there are no chaste men or chaste women. Leru. We are trying to become one. It's a question of self-introspection. It's a question of self-introspection. Right? Am I chaste or unchaste? If you're attracted to a movie star, a hero, you already lost your chastity. If you're attracted to a movie heroine, or some woman, what she was doing or dancing, you already lost your chastity. Chastity is such a high principle. You can't even imagine it. It is such a high principle, right? Who I'm married to my husband, I don't speak to anyone. That is okay. That is one level of it, right? Why am I telling like this? Is because if we are thinking that we are chaste, then we are in a very dangerous situation. In Kali Yuga, it's very difficult to find somebody who's chaste. Okay, I'm not telling this that everybody outside is unchaste, because I should not say, you should feel that. I'm just explaining that the definition of chastity is very high. And I should recognize for myself, am I chaste or not? According to those standards, not according to your thoughts, right? How many Mother Sitas are there in our satsang? Have you seen one? Have you seen one? How many Lord Rams are there in our satsang? Has anybody seen so far? No, right? So let's not equate and say that I'm chaste and not chaste. Chastity is a very high principle. Why am I telling this here? Is for our benefit that be careful. Be careful. Don't think that you are chaste. No. We are naturally unchaste in Kali Yuga. Naturally unchaste in Kali Yuga. So that also means our vulnerability to get attracted towards a paramour is right across the corner. Given a chance, there is a Ravan sitting inside me to find a Sita, to kidnap a Sita. Given a chance. I'm not doing it because I have a social status. People will find, Are endukra bhai, ippudu age la enduku pillalu unnaru. That's all is stopping me. My social network is stopping me from doing some nonsense. Otherwise, it's naturally people are unchaste to do all kinds of things. Knowing that as something, you should be careful. That's all I'm saying. You should be careful. Right? And your mind is like that unchaste mind. You should be careful. Never trust your mind. That mind will not put me into that situation. Are baapre. What to speak of. It's a statement Prabhupada is writing that he struggled to implement this in ISKCON society. Being in West, struggled. Acharya is saying that I felt so much difficulty in implementing it in the West because disassociating with women or men is not that easy, right? So very. So here, in the end of the paragraph, he writes in the purport, an uncontrolled mind and an unchaste wife are the same. An unchaste wife can kill her husband at any time, and an uncontrolled mind followed by lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, and illusion can certainly kill the yogi, can certainly kill the spiritual life. Text 5. The mind is the root cause of lust, anger, pride, greed, lamentation, illusion, and fear. Combined, these constitute bondage to fruitive activity. What learned man would put faith in the mind? No learned man would put faith in the mind. Sukadeva Swami is telling. Text 6. Lord Rishabdev was the head of all kings and emperors within this universe, but assuming the dress and language of an Avaduta, he acted as if dull and materially bound. Consequently, no one could observe his divine opulence. He adopted this behavior just to teach yogis how to give up the body. Nonetheless, he maintained his original position as a plenary expansion of the Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Remaining always in that state, he gave up his pastimes as Lord Rishabdeva within the material world. If following in the footsteps of Lord Rishabdeva, one can give up his subtle body, there is no chance that one will accept a material body again. The whole self-explanatory translation, so I'm not elaborating more. Purport also is explaining same thing. Text 7. Actually, Lord Rishabdeva had no material body, but due to Yogamaya, he considered his body material, and therefore, because he played like an ordinary human being, he gave up the mentality of identifying with it. Following this principle, he began to wander all over the world. While traveling, he came to a province of Karnataka in South India, and passed through Konka, Venka, and Kutaka. He had no plan to travel this way, but he arrived near Kutakachala and entered a forest there. He placed stones within his mouth and began to wander through the forest naked and with his hair disheveled like a madman. This is Avaduta consciousness. I don't care what people are looking at me or seeing at me. Text 8. While he was wandering about, a wild forest fire began. This fire was caused by the friction of bamboos which were being blown by the wind. In that fire, the entire forest near Kutakachala and the body of Lord Rishabdev were burned to ashes. So he allowed it to be burned. Important thing is that it's not like he did not have siddhis to stop it. He allowed its body to be burned. Why? He wanted to show the world that a yogi who is detached from the world doesn't need a ritualistic, like all those things that are done at the time of death are needed. Right? He just left. And he allowed himself to be burned. His material body is not there. He is the Supreme Person of Godhead. Rishabdev is the Supreme Person of Godhead. He is Krishna. He only has spiritual body. But because he's playing the role of a human, a yogi, he is showing to the rest of eternity that, yes, he allowed his material body to be burnt away. Text 9. Sukadeva Goswami continued speaking to Parikshit Maharaj Parikshit. My dear king, the king of Konka, Venka and Kutaka, whose name was Arhat. Remember this name, Arhat. Heard of the activities of Rishabdeva and imitating Rishabdeva's principles, introduced a new system of religion, taking advantage of Kali Yuga, the age of sinful activity. King Arhat, being bewildered, gave up the Vedic principles, which are free from risk, and concocted a new system of religion opposed to the Vedas. That was the beginning of the Jain Dharma. Many other so-called religions followed this atheistic system. Hare Krishna. Now, this is not a license for all of us to think that Jains are bad, we are good. Let's not get into all that conclusions, okay? Understand the principle here. A new system was created. Yes, it is Jains, but there are many Jains who became devotees also, right? How they became devotees is because some devotees showed their compassion on them, and some devotees really understood, their principles, what they follow. And they introduced chanting and they introduced good activities, and they became devotees. They're fortunate, right? Actually, Jains are very People with a lot of tendency to do tapasya, upavas and all that, it's already there in them. And they basically, it's more of renounced order, what they prefer, right? But the only problem is the Mayavad comes into play where they think that they'll become God at the end, right? That small thing can be changed by nicely serving them and nicely allowing them to read our Prabhupada's purports and books and scriptures, mainly scriptures, right? And then they will understand. Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. I have many friends who were Jains and they became Vaishnavas, right? But the problem is that system was introduced. This King Arhat, what he did is he saw Rishabdev living his body in the forest, which comes into his province. And then he felt, oh, this is how it is. And he only saw the external aspect. He did not see the internal aspect of Rishabdev's teachings. So they basically, they believe in too much renouncement, ahimsa, too much, like plucking your hair instead of cutting it, remaining naked without wearing anything. There is one saint, he remains naked, but he wears specs. Why do you need specs? Huh? If you're not wearing clothes, you're saying nothing material should be on. Why do you need specs? Anyway, don't want to argue on all those things, but basically point is artificial renouncement. That renouncement is, what is that? Not taking you to Krishna. Why am I saying artificial renouncement? Renouncement is there, but the renouncement should make you a devotee, not make you a demon, not make you think that I'm God, or I'll become God, or I'm becoming God. All the things were introduced by this person Arhat. And he created a new system, and they actually reject Vedas also. They reject everything, but they again have all rituals. They confused a lot. Na idhar ka, na udhar ka, right? So we should feel we are very fortunate that we have not got captivated in such kind of situation. But at the same time, we should not see only faults in them. We should try to encourage them to learn devotional service, like we benefited. I come from a community which is horrible as compared to Jains, right? At least Jains don't eat meat. They don't. They have very good principles, but I don't. I come from a worse community, so I always feel that they becoming devotees is much easier than me, because they're very so close in terms of their tapasya and everything. So many communities are there, not only naming one, because Prabhupada is named in the translation itself, Jain. So I'm talking about them, but many like that. We should be very mindful and careful of how we are dealing with them, because that also will be considered offenses. Anybody we take them away from Krishna with our behavior is an offense. So we should be very careful. Right? Yeah. So Prabhupada writes a little more about this cult. Text 10. People who are lowest among men and bewildered by the illusion and energy of the Supreme Lord will give up the original Varnashrama Dharma and its rules and regulations. They will abandon bathing 3 times daily and worshipping the Lord, abandoning cleanliness and neglecting the Supreme Lord. They will accept non-sensual principles, not regularly bathing or washing their mouths regularly. They will always remain unclean and they will pluck out their hair. Following a concocted religion, they will flourish. They will flourish, they're saying. Why? Because it's Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means anything nonsense will flourish first. During the age of Kali, people who are more inclined to irreligious systems, Consequently, these people will naturally deride Vedic authority, the followers of Vedic authority, the Brahmanas, the Supreme Person of God, and the devotees. They will completely deride. So here more is written about King Arhat, how he introduced. He did not care what Rishabdev told, instead trying to, follow the externals. Then he created this sect. Prabhupada Dhariti writes here. He is an acharya. He can write, right? But that doesn't give us a license that we can go and start directly finding faults and creating a ruckus out of it. No, our job is to serve. And we are here to encourage and bring people to KC, not drive them away. Text 11. Low-class people, due to their gross ignorance, introduce a system of religion that deviates from the Vedic principles, following their own mental concoctions. They ultimately fall down into the darkest regions of hell. This is low-class people. You see that, right? Actually, Andhra, is known to be the people of fools. I'm also from Andhra, but that word is also mentioned in Bhagavatam. There is a verse, right? Germany, Andhra, all these places are identified. Fools, meaning we will make every irreligious thing the most popular. You just see, I'm not going to name those people, unnecessarily, those fake avatars. Who made them popular? Until Andhra people did not go to them, nothing was popular. The moment we went, Khatam, we will take it to the next level. We'll build temples for them. We'll build, planetariums for them. We'll build so many nonsense things we'll do, right? And that which is not religious, that which is not supposed to worship, we'll make it worshipable. Ayyo, Rama. I recently went to that Godavari near in Rajmandri. And very close to the Godavari river, they've allocated land for all these useless fake institutions, kept those fake avatars there. We have no scriptural basis, nothing, right? And people even go there. Like they come to ISKCON temple, they see there is Godavari, they can worship, there is beautiful, Sri Vaishnava temples also around, but unfortunately these fake institutions are also there, which are only going to create more distraction. Right? That is Kali Yuga. You can't do much. Text 12. In this age of Kali, people are overwhelmed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Lord Rishabdev incarnated himself to deliver them from the clutches of Maya. Yeah, Prabhupada is writing more. I request you all to read the purports. I don't want it to go, I don't want you to start finding faults in a particular sect because Prabhupada is writing about it a lot in purports. Read it for your benefit, right? Not to send out in public and create a kind of rift between communities, right? Prabhupada is writing for us to read and understand so that we don't become atheistic or monistic and to recognize what is right and wrong. Viveka Buddhi, Prabhupada is giving. Text 13. Learned scholars chant about the transcendental qualities of Lord Rishabdeva in this way. Oh, this earthly planet contains 7 seas and many islands and lands, of which Bharatvarsha is considered the most pious. People of Bharatvarsha are accustomed to glorifying the activities of Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnations with Lord Rishabdeva and others. All these activities are very auspicious for the welfare of humanity. We are part of Bharatvarsha. In this life, you are part of Bharatvarsha. Prabhuji's and Mataji's, congratulations. Please recognize that and be thankful. Thank you, Krishna, for giving me birth in this Bharatvarsha. I don't deserve to be here. Don't leave this country. You are in Bharatvarsha. The perfect land which will give you more opportunities to take you back home, back to Godhead. Yes, in service of Krishna, you want to go to other places, you can. But for no other reason, leave this place. Don't leave this place. Text 14. There is some more things in the purport Prabhupada has written about Bharatvarsha. You can read it. Adi Punyam indicates that there are certainly many other pious men throughout the world, but the people in Bharatvarsha are even more pious. Prabhupada really glorifies Bharatvarsha. Text 14. Oh, what shall I say of the dynasty of Priyavrata, which is pure and very much celebrated. In that dynasty, the Supreme Person, the original personality of God, descended as an incarnation and executed religious principles that could free one from the results of fruitive activity. Very bold. So Lord Ramchandra came in Raghu dynasty. Lord Krishna came in Yadu dynasty. Lord Rishabdev came in Priyavrata dynasty. So Parikshit Maharaj was thinking, what about Kuru dynasty? How come the Supreme Lord did not take birth in Kuru dynasty? Sukadeva Goswami understood that thought. So he's trying to drive the point there. Text 15. Who is that mystic yogi who can follow the examples of Lord Rishabdev? Even with his mind, Lord Rishabdev rejected all kinds of yogic perfection, which other yogis hanker to attain. Who is that yogi who can compare to Lord Rishabdev? So he's glorifying Lord Rishabdev. And in the purport, Prabhupada writes, the real purpose of the yoga system is to achieve the favor and shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this purpose is covered by the illusionary energy of Yoga Maya. Hari Bol. Text 16. Sukadeva Goswami continued, Lord Rishabdeva is a master of all Vedic knowledge. Please, everybody hear attentively. The conclusion coming here. Sukadeva Goswami continued, Lord Rishabdeva is a master of all Vedic knowledge, human beings, demigods, cows, and brahmanas. I have already explained his pure transcendental activities, which will vanquish the sinful activities of all living entities. This narration of Lord Rishabdeva's pastimes in the reservoir is the reservoir of all auspicious things. Whoever attentively hears or speaks of them, following in the footsteps of the Acharyas, will certainly attain unalloyed devotional service at the lotus feet of Lord Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 17. They are Falashrutis, that we have read it. Haribol, we are fortunate. Text 17. Devotees always bathe themselves in devotional service in order to be relieved from the various tribulations of material existence. By doing this, the devotees enjoy supreme bliss and the liberation personified comes to serve them. Nonetheless, they do not accept that service, even if it is offered by the Supreme Personality of God himself. For the devotees' liberation, mukti is very unimportant because having attained the Lord's transcendental loving service, they have attained everything desirable and have transcended all material desires. Mukti follows bhakti. Bhakti doesn't run behind mukti. Right here in the purport, Prabhupada quotes from Bilowangal Das Thakur. Bilowangal Das Thakur says, Mukti, mukulita tanjit jilai sevate asman. For a devotee, mukti is not a very great achievement. Mukti means being situated in one's constitutional position. The constitutional position of every living entity, every living being is that of a Lord's servant. Therefore, when a living entity is engaged in the Lord's loving service, he has already attained mukti. Consequently, a devotee does not aspire for mukti, even if it is offered by Supreme Lord himself. He is giving his, please take mukti. I'm like, I don't want mukti. I want bhakti. Like we heard from Dinavandhu Prabhu. So beautiful. I'm sure. How many of you are hearing the word Maya again and again and again? Huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maya.
Maya.
Yes, Maria.
See, one word from a pure devotee can shoot into our hearts. At the time of death, you also will remember that. Maya. At the time of death, also, that's a pure devotee. And these are siddhi. This is a great siddhi that he can pass on love of Godhead. We are so fortunate. I feel the people who did not come on that day, Dinabandhu Prabhu, when he was coming, are so unfortunate. So unfortunate. The people who are sitting in the hall and browsing phone are the most unfortunate. And the people who are still thinking that they know better.
Prabhuji, actually, he's been in Hyderabad for so long, and every day, I think Attapur, he's giving classes, Abid, he's giving classes. Now I feel unfortunate for not attending those.
Yeah,
It's a good feeling to carry. But think about people who are so near to Bhakti Center. He's coming to meet us, and we don't show up. And we show up but are not attentive.
Prabhuji, we have heard that pastime so many times, but that day when we heard from Dinbandhu Prabhuji, it was so different. I mean, no, it was so difficult to hold the tears.
Really, I mean, we should not put up tears there, but
Yeah.
tears rolled in my eyes also.
Yes,
Just
Prabhuji.
close my eyes. I just close my eyes. I mean, I was seeing many devotees. Because why the tears come? Because Krishna reciprocating.
Hmm.
He is reciprocating in all our hearts. How sweet he is.
Hmm.
With such innocence, with such sweetness, which I
And
need
with such
not repeat.
innocence, he was singing bhajans also, Prabhuji. Like with those actions he was doing.
He was saying, even the little word, Lala, aake baitho idhar.
Hmm.
Arre baap re. That word, Lala, when it comes from his mouth, it's like Lala. It's like really calling Krishna. Mujhe ek bar Maiya bulao. Maiya? My God, we're like, me and my wife were driving yesterday, and suddenly my wife was remembering that, and saying, Maya, how did he say that word Maya? Even if I say 100 times, I'm not getting the same feeling. But Hare Krishna. That's pure devotion. But we are very fortunate. So such people are not after mukti. They are after bhakti. And mukti runs behind them. Text 18. Very important one. Please, everybody, be attentive. There are only two more texts, 18 and 19. And I'm going to read the entire purport also. Okay? So please be attentive. Because I read the purport, I felt there's nothing to choose. I have to read the entire purport. Text 18, translation. Sukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, the supreme person, Mukunda, is always the maintainer of all members of the Pandava and Yadu dynasties. He is your spiritual master, worshipable deity, friend, and the director of your activities. To say nothing of this, he sometimes serves your family as a messenger or a servant. This means he worked just as ordinary servants do. Those engaged in getting the Lord's favor attain liberation from the Lord very easily. But he does not very easily give the opportunity to render direct service unto him. Why is he saying this? Is because Parikshit Maharaj, felt that how come we Kuru dynasty are unfair? That Lord did not descend in our dynasty. He descended in Yadus, he descended in Priyavrata dynasty, he descended in Raghava dynasty, Raghu dynasty, but he did not descend here. So here Sukadeva Goswami is trying to tell, knowing the emotion of Parikshit Maharaj, that you are more fortunate than us. That Pandavas were served by the Supreme Lord himself. He thought about you people more than others. Actually, you can read the whole purport again. I just told the gist of it. That he's trying to console and tell that you are more fortunate than the people in their own dynasty where Lord was born, because Lord was born there, but he's coming and serving you, and he engaged you and he protected you all the time. Text 19. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishabdeva, was fully aware of his true identity. Therefore, he was self-sufficient and he did not desire external gratification. There was no need for him to aspire for success, since he was complete in himself. Those who unnecessarily engage in bodily conceptions and create an atmosphere of materialism are always ignorant of their real self-interest. Out of his causeless mercy, Lord Rishabdeva taught the self's real identity and the goal of life. We therefore offer our respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who appeared as Lord Rishabdeva. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes, so I'll read the purport, the last purport. I have to read this completely. Please be attentive. This is the summary of this chapter, in which the activities of Lord Rishabdeva are described. Being the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Lord Rishabdeva is complete in himself. We living entities, as parts and parcels of Supreme Lord, should follow the instructions of Lord Rishabdeva and become self-sufficient. We want to become self-sufficient. Haribol. We should not create unnecessary demands due to bodily conception. Don't create unnecessary demands, artificial, materialistic. When one is self-realized, he is sufficiently satisfied due to being situated in his original spiritual position. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 18.54, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatmana Sochati Na Kankshati. This is the goal of all living entities. Even though one may be situated within this material world, he can become fully satisfied and devoid of hankering and lamentation simply by following the instructions of the Lord as set forth in Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Satisfaction through self-realization is called Swarupananda. The conditioned soul, eternally sleeping in darkness, does not understand his self-interest. He simply tries to become happy by making material adjustments. But this is impossible. Can you repeat, everybody? The conditioned soul.
The conditioned soul.
Conditioned soul.
Eternally sleeping in darkness.
Eternally
Sleeping in darkness.
sleeping in darkness.
Does not understand.
Does not understand
His self-interest.
his self-interest.
He simply tries.
He simply tries
To become happy.
to become happy
By making material adjustments.
by making material adjustments.
But this is impossible.
But this is impossible.
ఇది బయట ఇంటి బయట house number untadi kada, dan kinda print change pettali. Every time we come to home, just see, this house is not going to give you happiness. Don't do metal adjustment. I'll modify this wall. I'll keep another wall there, another curtain here. All that is nonsense. Nothing will give you happiness. Because we don't know how to be happy. Prabhupada is saying here. This car, I should have one more seater. I should have this color, this height, this jewelry, this job. None of this. It's impossible. What is the word Prabhupada is using? Impossible. Impossible. A conditioned soul eternally sleeping in darkness does not understand his self-interest. That is why satsang is important. Satsang is the only place where we are reminded of this fact. Everywhere else, it's being advertised that that is how you'll find happiness. Continuing. It is therefore said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Nate vidhu swartha gatim hi Vishnu. Due to gross ignorance, the conditioned soul does not know that his real self-interest is to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord Vishnu. To try to become happy by adjusting the mental atmosphere is useless endeavor. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, Jai Shri Prabhupada. To try to become happy by adjusting the mental atmosphere is useless endeavor. What does this mean, Prabhus? If this happens, I'll be happy. If this happens, I'll come to satsang. Huh? Yeah, or if this happens, I'll chant 16 rounds. Huh? This is happening. That is why I'm not chanting 16 rounds minimum. Huh? I'm not following Ekadashi because this is what is not favorable. All these things are external reasons we are giving to ourselves. Huh? To try to become happy by adjusting mental atmosphere is useless endeavor. Indeed, it is impossible. By his personal behavior and instructions, Lord Rishabdeva enlightened the conditioned soul and showed him how to become self-sufficient in his spiritual identity. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 5th canto, 6th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Activities of Lord Rishabdeva. Thank you very much. Next starts Bharat Maharaj, very, very famous chapter. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to read this wonderful concluding chapter of the Rishabdeva's pastimes. I intensely pray in front of all you wonderful Vaishnavas that my mind should not take me away from all of you. My mind should not find reasons to go away from all of you. My mind should always find reasons, or I should control my mind to find and see good and not bad, and always remain in association of Vaishnavas. The last day of my life, the last moment of my life, I want to be surrounded by prayerful Vaishnavas who are praying sincerely for me, so that we can achieve the goal of life that Lord Rishabdeva has explained with his own example. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Ekadashi Mahamotsav special day ki jai. I wish the day will come and Narendra Modi will declare all Ekadashis as national holidays. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Any reflections, thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అడగచ్చా?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, అది ఒకటి ఇప్పుడు కిడ్స్ Prabhuji, పర్టికులర్ గా ఇప్పుడు టీనేజ్ కిడ్స్ ఉన్నారు. మనము మీరు చెప్పినట్టు
Voice is echoing, Prabhu, for some reason. I don't know where are you talking from. I can't follow you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, ఇప్పుడు ఓకేనా?
It's still echoing.
You need to come close to the laptop and talk. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, ఇప్పుడు ఓకేనా?
Okay, I'll try. Go ahead, Prabhuji. Try to put it short so that I can quickly get it.
Yeah, my question is particularly for the kids, Prabhuji, because ఇప్పుడు మన ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ లో ఇట్లా పెంచినప్పుడు ఒకసారి వాళ్ళు బయటకు వెళ్తే కంప్లీట్లీ దే విల్ గో టు ఎ డిఫరెంట్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్. సో అప్పుడు ఇంకొక డూప్లిసిటీ అనేది వచ్చేస్తుంది కదా Prabhuji, ఎట్లా దాన్ని హ్యాండిల్ చేయగలం?
Okay, for children, duplicity. It's a big question, Prabhu. I don't think I can answer right now. I myself am struggling. Every parent is struggling today. We should recognize, first of all, we are recognizing the problem. That itself is good, that there is a problem outside. Recognize that, but don't become fanatically fault finding about the environment outside. It's Kali Yuga. We already know it's Kali Yuga, so we don't have to take a class on Kali Yuga. All we have to do is we have to insulate ourselves. And most important thing, Prabhu, spend time with your children. I'm going to share this. Yesterday, I went and I sat with my son. And I actually told him that, if you are facing any trouble that you are hesitant to discuss with me, please discuss, because I'm your father. I'm there to help you. Okay. If somebody is blackmailing you, without even your knowledge, or trying to put you into a trap without your knowledge, or he made you feel that you've done something really bad without your knowledge, and makes you feel that you're embarrassed without your knowledge. That is what people do. There are big traps, internet, it's going on. So at any point of time, before you make any stupid decision, remember that your father will understand and forgive everything and be there for you. So I was telling him. So he was asking me, why are you telling me this like that? I told him I felt like telling you like that. So I think the most important thing is we should be there for our children in their tough times while they're going through in this material world. Instead of trying to tell them that be perfectly spiritually situated, which is very difficult in their case. They're growing now. They're seeing the world. They're learning the world now. They have to make that choice. The choice has to come naturally. The more you force, the more they'll become repulsive. So be there for them. My answer would be just be there for them while they go through this tough Kurukshetra of their own mind and of the externals. Be there for them and be available and be compassionate and sympathetic and understanding than being instructive and punishing, right? Be more compassionate. I don't know. That's the answer I can think of.
But particularly now, this bro culture, everybody, like even girls also bro, boys also bro, all is bro.
That's okay, bro. Let them tell bro. That's okay. Bro doesn't make them a demon. It's okay. At this present moment, they will use the slangs. They will see. I'll tell you a simple thing. If you try to give them an identity which they can't openly show outside, they become identityless. You know what I'm saying? Let them come to a point where they are ready to take up an identity and live with it outside. If we try to push them to identify themselves and they can't really show it outside, then they don't have identity there, identity here also. So be supportive, be corrective, but with compassion and with patience. It's okay. Little things, ignore it. It's okay. Our children.
What about restrictions? I mean, do we really need to put some restrictions to the kids?
Yeah, restrictions are there. Restrictions are needed. But restrictions should not, make them feel that they are tied up. Restrictions should come with encouragement. Restrictions should come with happiness. Restrictions should be chosen, not imparted. And even if it's imparted, slowly you should know the importance of it, right? So balance it. And Prabhu, remember one thing. Next 5 years will not define the remaining 80 years in life. Next 5 years can create some troubles, can create some impressions, but we should understand that we are in Kali Yuga. If you would have sent them to Gurukul, they would not have gone through all this. You are the person who chose to stay in Pupalaguda and expecting your children to be like in Gurukul. Right? I'm telling this to myself. I am staying in Gachibowli, sending my children to a normal school and expecting them to be like Gurukulis. It's not going to work like that. We cannot put them under that pressure. Instead, knowing our decisions, knowing the situation, let's be there with them, be loving to them, and one day they'll understand, they'll get it.
Thank you so much.
If anybody else wants to add anything, what I told, you're all parents here. I'm not the final authority who can tell what is right or wrong. This is what I feel. Every parent is going through this. What to parent? Even I am going through this. Why to tell children are getting distracted? My God. Yes, Hare Krishna. So, thank you. It's already 9 o'clock. I crossed the 8:30 mark. Thank you very much, Shilpa Mataji, for choosing to give me a chance to read on Bhagavatam on Ekadashi Day. And,
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत वैष्णववृंद की जय। भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील ऋषभ देव की जय। और प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.